People's Realtor here, and if you're thinking about making the move to Hamilton, but familiar with the place, never been, never seen it from a map, well, today we're going to be breaking down the city, the surrounding areas, the neighborhoods, the communities, where to bring your money, where to plant your seeds, if that's the choice you make. I am the People's Realtor, and we're going to be jumping right in with a little overview if you've never seen the place on the map. We've got Hamilton here, southwest of Toronto. You just travel along the QEW, brings you right to Toronto, and you travel back to Hamilton, and you go east, you got St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, USA, and beyond, right? I think it's pretty good geographically where it's placed, right? Because depending on the traffic, 45 minutes to an hour to Toronto, 45 minutes to an hour to the border. And that's pretty cool. And then you got Niagara Falls. Who doesn't love a weird night in Niagara Falls, right? But anyways, here's Hamilton, away, sleepy little city, right? And then we got the surrounding areas. We got Kitchener, Cambridge, Brantford. Now, these are places, if you are priced out of Hamilton, a lot of people that lived here, grew up in Hamilton. When they got priced out, they started moving out to these tertiary neighborhoods like Beamsville, Caledonia. You can see down here, Beamsville's along the QEW, Grimsby, Smithville, and Binbrook. All these kind of neighborhoods got developed really quickly, and they still remain a cheaper option than Hamilton, and they're very nice, but they're definitely not as cheap as they used to be, and they just keep building there. So anyways, Hamilton here. Now, if you're starting with a budget, let's just say an average budget, I don't know, throwing it out there, $500,000 to $800,000, you got a lot of options here. I would say most notably in the East End. Now, when I say East End, I'm talking about the East End of Hamilton, right? And I'm kind of talking about this big area here, Homeside, Ottawa Street here, Crown Point East, Crown Point West. Let's just take a little look at what we're dealing with here. Ottawa Street is one of, the towns that have been getting revitalized, or not the towns, the streets that have been getting revitalized. They got cafes, stuff like that. A lot of thrift shops, vintage shops. It's pretty cool. So it's been nice to see it kind of getting a rebirth. I will say, years since COVID, Hamilton kind of seen a huge revitalization kind of over the past 10 years. And then COVID, kind of exacerbated a lot of issues, and it's kind of regressed a little bit, but there's still so much potential here. As you can see, these homes, they're nice, modest homes, smaller lots. These are they're older, right? And a lot of them have smaller basements. They're from, old city of Hamilton, but this is very typical of the house style you're going to find here. And these will run you, depending on the condition, $500,000 to $700,000. And they're really nice neighborhoods. You get a good backyard. It's a great place to raise a family. Now, what I will say is when you're looking at the East End here on our map, I don't mean kind of this whole chunk, because I'll tell you something right now. This street here is Barton Street East. Great street, don't get me wrong. My Pie Pizza, probably one of the best pizzas you'll ever have. But north of this street, it can kind of get a little talk bad about it because there's still lots of great opportunities. But if you have a smaller budget, maybe your budget's, $350 to $500, maybe even less than that, you're kind of limited to this area here. And why don't we just pull up? You can see there's a lot of industry down here, and there's a lot of neighborhoods that are kind of sandwiched in these spots. So let's see if we can find a little example, right? So as you can see, they call us Steel City, Steel Town, because we do have Dofasco and Stelco, which were big steel industries in Hamilton. That's what kind of made Hamilton thrive historically. But the steel industry kind of isn't what it used to be, and what the future holds with all this craziness. But the industry's still there. Hamilton as a whole's kind of had a little bit of a renaissance revitalization, but it's still lots of industry. And depending where you are, you're going to notice it. Now, if you are in some of these neighborhoods, maybe you're looking around here and you think, oh, this is kind of East End, but this is more North End, right? Now, let's hop down here. As you can see, there's lots of kind of industry and commercial stuff here. The houses, there's still nice houses, but there are a lot of complaints about sometimes, you get a smell. Maybe you've driven over the Skyway before and you've noticed a bit of a scent. Well, that is our industry, right? And a lot of these neighborhoods, they're nice, but there is a lot of factories and industry down here. So I would be wary about that. Oh my God, I didn't even realize where I was. Well, this is Burton Street. These are where my roots are from. My grandma lived in this house here. And where is it? And a few years ago, my brother and I built these two houses right here, semi-detached houses. So yeah, we like to give back to Hamilton too. We like to make it nice. So, but as you can see, there's a lot of industry here, especially if you go down here, there's train tracks down here. You're going to notice a lot of, but that is an option if your budget is smaller. These neighborhoods aren't, terrible, right? They're just, they're a little rough around the edges, North End, stuff like that. Don't mistake me as kind of chirping Hamilton here. Hamilton as a whole is great, even these neighborhoods. We love the steel sector. We love our steel boys, right? Okay, now that we looked a little bit at the East End to the North End, before I move on, actually, I want to take a quick look. One of my favorite neighborhoods in Hamilton, and we got Rosedale here. And as you can see, Rosedale is kind of tucked away in the East End here, and it backs on. First, let's talk about this forest, this kind of tree line that you see running through. That is the Hamilton Escarpment. It is what people call the mountain. It's not really a mountain. It's just, it's an escarpment. So it kind of splits the city from upper and lower. So as you can see, yeah, it kind of cuts through the whole way and continues on all the way to Niagara Falls. But what I like about Rosedale is you can see this break here, and Rosedale's just tucked in nice and beautifully in here. And it's surrounded by, Red Hill Valley Trail, lots of greenery, trees, beautiful views of the escarpment, Kings Forest Golf Club, and Rosedale Park, Rosedale Arena. But Kings Forest is great. I was a member here back in the day, and then I realized I can't play golf. I still like to play, but not a membership's worth. But it is a great spot. Let's take a quick look down here so you can see if you're a golfer, Rosedale might be your jam. We got Kings Forest Golf Club in Hamilton, and we also got Shadoke, which has 2 courses on it, the Bedaux and Martin. So those are our 2 city courses, but we have tons of courses around Hamilton. Your options are unlimited. Here's the clubhouse. It's a great course. Beautiful views of the escarpment in the back there. But enough about Rosedale. I went on a bit too long. It's pretty much going to find the same style houses, nice lot, so well taken care of. Because it's in that pocket of the escarpment, you're not getting a lot of traffic there, which I absolutely love, and which evidently a lot of people loved because, Rosedale was really a sleeper neighborhood in the past, but it definitely, when stuff went crazy, Rosedale was a hot spot. There was a lot of transactions there, a lot of people moving into the neighborhood. Overall, it's really nice. You can get a house for, 600 to 800,000 here and above, but these days it's a lot different. Super, super nice. All families or residents that have lived there for decades. So very strong community here. I love Rosedale. Shout out Rosedale. Shout out Zach Clan. All right, moving on. Now, so we went over the East End, this nice area here. We touched a bit about our industrial sector, above Barton Street, above Burlington Street. You're going to find a lot of neighborhoods sprinkled in with a lot of industrial factories and whatever. Now, another area. Now, if we travel up the mountain here, and when I say mountain, I don't mean a mountain. We're not talking British Columbia. We're talking not a mountain. All right. So you can go, there's a few accesses. Here's one here. You can go up the Red Hill Valley Parkway down there. Any which way you get up here, there's a lot of great residential neighborhoods that these houses are kind of from the same areas when the East End was built out. Up here was built out. As you can see, we love our parks here. We love our baseball, our softball, our soccer. So tons of parks, and obviously very, grid-like system here. East 23rd, East 24th. These are these number streets that run north to south. And then the main cross streets, you got Fennel Avenue, Mohawk, you got the Link, Stone Church, Rymel. Anyways, if we're looking at these houses here, they're very nice, kind of standard like you've seen here. And the cost isn't too far off from the East End, I would say. And that all depends on the condition of the home, because these are older homes. So there's some homes that are in rough shape. There's some homes that have been updated and are absolutely beautiful. Now, just looking at some neighborhoods, just looking at down a typical street, I can't believe it. Oh my God. This is the second random pin I dropped, and this was my client's house right here. And there's his old truck that I sold last year. That is weird. All right. So we're on East 24th. These are very typical of what you're going to see. We've got some newer builds here, mixed in with some older style homes. Nice backyards, generous backyards, more than enough room for you, your kiddos, doggos, whatever, to live and grow and play and work up or grow up. So like I said, it's a grid-like system. Next street over, you're going to find East 25th. it's going to look pretty much the same, but it's a great neighborhood for families. It's a great residential neighborhood. Now, what I will say is very car-centric. You're going to need a car to get around. There's bus lines, don't get me wrong, but I will say that the public transit is lacking, right? So if you are more someone who wants to be able to walk to get groceries, to work, whatever, you're going to want to come down here, down to the lower city and kind of be more in the core. Even the East End around Ottawa Street is a little more walkable, not as good as downtown, but still, Hamilton as a whole, very kind of car-centric, so something to keep in mind. But yes, up on the mountain here, we have the Link. That's a highway that just cuts right through the upper mountain. And we have the Red Hill Valley Parkway, which connects the lower city to the mountain on the east side. Now, maybe you want to get a little further out from Hamilton. You want to go maybe a bit of a suburb vibe, nice big houses. You got a little more money to spend. Well, I'm going to show you a little place called Stoney Creek. Now, Stoney Creek was its own city up until 2001. It was amalgamated into Hamilton along with some other regions. But it kind of starts right here at Centennial Road, and it's just kind of this big kind of chunk here. There's Upper Stoney Creek, and then it even goes, when you go up here, it even goes all the way up here, and that's because Tweedside's Upper Stoney Creek, and we are Tweedside. All right. So, Stoney Creek, like Hamilton, is split into two, where you're going to find, more downtown Stoney Creek. You'll find a nice, sleepy little downtown area if you like more of a small town vibe. And those houses in that kind of area are going to reflect that too. Here is a street in Lower Stoney Creek. These are typical houses. The lot sizes are usually bigger than stuff you'd find in the East End, but this is kind of Old Town Stoney Creek. These are some older homes, but Stoney Creek was built out residentially over the years, so it kind of expands, and even now there's so many new developments going up, and you got big modern two-story homes, big lots. Well, not lots, big houses. You go to the development, your lot going to be limited a lot of the times unless you're going, custom. But this is, as we say, downtown Stoney Creek. This is kind of more downtown Stoney Creek. Like I said, sleepy little town vibes, residential neighborhoods off to the sides here of King Street, which will flow into Hamilton, into the East End, into Hamilton, Westdale, Dundas, and beyond. This is Stoney Creek. We got the Village Restaurant here, delicious, penalty box. There's some cool spots here. So there's Boots in the Heart. There's a festival here. They shut this street down in the summertime called Boots in the Creek. It's a country festival. Very, very good time. So this is always a good time. We got Powerhouse here. The Powerhouse is a nice restaurant. We got Stoney Creek Fountain here. And then we look there, we got the Powerhouse, which would used to be an actual powerhouse, the power of the town. But it is a restaurant, bar. And if you're in town on Boxing Day, you come see JoJo Gun and the Bullets put on the best show you'll ever see. But that's pretty much the downtown strip of Stoney Creek. Here we got the Attic Pizza Parlor, which has been kind of split into a dispensary. But if you want to be near a dispensary, you live anywhere, you're going to be around the corner. And I'm sure that's true for mostly anywhere. So Stoney Creek, great spot. Before we move on, let's just take a look, because I've only kind of touched on core part of Stoney Creek, and I don't want to give off the impression that that's what it all looks like, because it certainly does not. Because you can go up here. This is what we call the plateau. So this is the top of the escarpment here. And this is the plateau of Stoney Creek. You're going to find some beautiful homes here. And then these are all they're newer than Old Town Stoney Creek homes, but at this point, they're still older. So why don't we jump down and just kind of take a look at what these homes look like, because it's very different. These are nice, big, beautiful lots, big 2,500 square foot homes, very quiet communities, because as I said, it's a plateau. Like, no one's going up here. This used to be my bus route to high school. Every day I used to walk these streets, man. So like I said, bigger, a lot of homes from the 80s, 90s, when they really built out the plateau here. And these are very, very nice homes. But these will run you $1 million plus. Not going to lie. Obviously, depending on the condition. If it's in a pretty good condition, they're going to run you $1 million plus. If it's, if it needs some work, or if it's dated, it needs modernizing, then, maybe $850,000, $900,000. But things change, right? That's another little typical part of Stoney Creek. But when you go up here, maybe you want to get away from it all. Maybe you want a little peace and quiet. Well, that's why I moved up here. I live on the Stoney Creek countryside, I like to say. And what I love about this whole area here is you got so much space, well, depending. Mostly it's a lot of farms, a lot of spread out homes. But what I love about it is you're kind of in the countryside. You are in the countryside, and it's just right up the mountain here. So you literally you have this whole kind of town here, and you shoot up here, and it's like you're in a different place. So that's why I kind of came up here. A lot of farms. A place I love is Starlight Drive-In Theater, and it's a pretty cool place. Oh, we just changed seasons here. But yeah, Starlight Drive-In, 3 screens, great place to go watch a movie under the stars, take kids, go with your friends. I love it. I love supporting it. I think it's super cool, and I hope, we keep things like this. And the community definitely seems to support these things around here. Going down the road a little bit from the drive-in there, we have the Croatian Community Center, which was built, I don't know, maybe around 10 years ago now. This is kind of surrounded by countryside, but it's beautiful. They got soccer fields. It's a great community center. I take my nephew there for soccer. He loves it. It's cool because they put the kids on the soccer fields and they're playing their game, and it's kind of fenced off. And then the area for the parents and everyone else, so they got this beautiful patio, bocce ball, food, wings, great food. If you know Croatians, they know how to cook, right? So I love it. I love it there. And DeFasco Community Sports Park is right over there too. Baseball diamonds, all that. So, and like I said, that's just really right there, right in the country. Now, this is a typical road in Upper Stoney Creek. Farms, houses, kilometers between houses. You got your space. That's why I love it. That's why I came up here. But maybe that's not for you, right? Maybe you want to be closer to everything. So you got to call or text the People's Realtor. I know exactly where you're going to want to go. You just tell me 1, 2, 3 things about where you want to live, and we're going to narrow that down to the best possible spot for you. Okay, we took a nice look at Stoney Creek, East End. Now, what about West End? Well, I'm glad you asked, because the West End, beauty homes. I love them. Very well maintained homes, really old, a lot of century homes, right? So that's this pocket right here. And here's, the core of Hamilton, kind of this area right here. And then you got Westdale is kind of this big area, which goes into Dundas and all these beautiful conservation sites. You got Coots Paradise. Well, why don't we just jump right in and take a look? Okay, so we just zoomed into Westdale here, and see, it's a nice vibe down here. It's quiet because it is kind of like Rosedale, kind of tucked in the side here and surrounded by these nice areas. As you can see, we're down here in Westdale, and very active, very, lived in, beautiful trees everywhere. I love the trees sprinkled throughout the neighborhood so much. It's so beautiful, and all these areas that surround it, right? So, we're still going down the street here, and it's a nice filled out community. They support their businesses there, which I love, because not going to lie to you, Hamilton, there are some spots you're going to see a lot of boarded up places, but as any place, there are so many neighborhoods to choose from and to live in. Now look at this. This is what I love. On a hot summer day, this is what you want. You want your house to be nice and covered up. Look at that. And a lot of these homes, like I said, nice big 2-story, big lots, because they don't make lots like they used to. But again, look at the coverage here of the homes, and these homes are so well taken care of. The people are really proud here, and this is just kind of off. So if you want to be close to downtown and still have that kind of urban vibe, still be right near it, be able to bike and have your own little beautiful community here too, Westdale is top notch. I love it. It will run you some more money. It's a bit more expensive than, say, East End or the Mountain. But as you can see, my opinion, it's quite worth it. This is just another street, but look at these homes. I love it. They have so much character. Look at how old these trees are. Nice big roads, very walkable. Westdale gets 2 thumbs up for sure. All right, hopping back to the map. So look at that. And that's Westdale is just kind of right off the hop from this beautiful area, this protected area. And you got McMaster University there, and there you got Hamilton kind of in the distance. So absolutely beautiful neighborhood. Can't recommend Westdale. Now, a couple other ones I'll mention. So zooming out of Westdale, we haven't touched on Hamilton, the core. you know, where the action's happening. So if that is the kind of lifestyle you like, myself, I'm more of I like my space, I like my peace and quiet. But if that's not you, you're going to want to be down here a little bit more. And Hamilton has such a variety of incredible restaurants, especially it's just been an influx of great restaurants, art, and stuff like that, like James Street North. If you want to be more down the town, the core here, you got some really nice neighborhoods here. This is just a main street. You know, it's all there's going to be a lot of condos down here, but there is a lot of pockets of residential as well. So keep that in mind. This is Main Street. So this is a one-way street. And if I back out of here real quick, I'll just show you really quickly. Main Street's here, runs east. It's a one-way street, and then King Street runs west. And like I said, the lights here are on a system. So if you hit a green light while traveling through the city on this road, you can money it. So you'll only hit green lights and you can just pass through. A lot of people don't like it because they say it encourages speeding. I think they got some valid points there because, yeah, Hamilton drivers, not the greatest reputation, right? This is kind of the downtown core. Let's show you something a little cooler than some old buildings. Here we got Jackson Square. It's a mall kind of right in the center of Hamilton. And then we got some great restaurants around this area. Now, this is James Street. It's a great community here. Every September, there's a big festival called Super Crawl. They shut down pretty much this whole street. Artists they get are incredible. So if you're a fan of live music, Hamilton's got a ton of great live music, great bands. Take it from me. So if that's your thing, you got to let the People's Realtor know. We're gonna place you exactly where you want to be. But like I said, James Street is a great area if you want to just be able to leave your apartment or your house and just get to step in and get everything you need. It's going to be a good spot for that. A lot of incredible restaurants, galleries, independent shops. So it's really cool down here. Another one, just a short scooter ride away because we do got scooters and e-bikes for you to hop on and get around the city. You got Lock Street, beautiful, some great restaurants, shops, cafes, Ardo, formerly known as Bread Bar, amazing pizza. They specialize, in pizza. It's so good. We got a lot of great pizza in Hamilton. I will say that Hamilton is a world-class pizza city. You said it. Actually, I believe it was Shorty's Pizza, if I'm not mistaken. Shorty's Pizza won, and if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. I'm sorry. They won Best Cheese Slice in the World at the Las Vegas Pizza World Tour Convention, whatever. Lock Street's another great one. Another great one is Hess Village. Guys, whatever you want in your neighborhood, Hamilton's got it. There's so many diverse spots. I didn't even touch on Ancaster or any of the surrounding kind of areas. Maybe you want to be closer to Toronto. You're going to go to Burlington. It's going to be a little bit more pricier. And even going along the QEW, Oakville, Mississauga, Waterdown, Dundas. I didn't even touch on Dundas. Dundas was just west of Hamilton. Why don't we look at Dundas real quick? Dundas is another, you just keep going down here. You can go on through Westdale and you got Dundas. And like Stoney Creek, it's just a nice, sleepy, beautiful town, a lot of independent shops and stuff like that. And they support their community quite well too. I mean, look, it doesn't look too far off from Stoney Creek. So whatever you want, Hamilton's got it. And I will say this till my last breath, Hamilton does get a bad rep from a lot of people, natives or people that live here or people that don't live here. But I think a lot of people are misinformed. Hamilton has so much to offer. If you want to plant your seeds or if you're a young professional, there's so many great spots in Hamilton to check out. And yeah, like I said, these places, Dundas is a little bit more expensive than what you're going to find. And that's because people are really proud and they take very good care of their homes out here. And in the lower city core, you're going to find a lot of condos, a lot of homes. But yeah, in that kind of $500,000 to $800,000 range. And then Ancaster, mostly, $1 million homes along with Burlington, Oakville. It gets even more expensive. But Hamilton, so many great options for you, partner, your family. Don't sleep on it. You just tell me a few things you want in your neighborhood, in your community. I'm going to point you to the best spot because I know all the spots. I got them all. You just got to call me or text me or email me down below. And if I'm missing anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. I am the People's Realtor. I'm here to serve the fine people moving to and from the Greater Toronto, Hamilton area and beyond. If you like this video and you want to learn more about living in Hamilton and their area, make sure you subscribe, follow along, hit that bell, and I'm going to catch you in the next one for the people.